So here we are, really excited. I've got the two side rails done with their mounts and the drawer is semi-connected. So we're really excited for this. You ready? Ooh yeah! Look at this bad boy, I am pumped. This was impossible to do. If you're planning on trying to do something like this, have a lot of patience. The measurements and trying to get this thing level was an absolute nightmare, but it's completely worth it. We have the steel bar running across the top here, just to give that support, but really so it brought the bed down that extra inch or two, which is really important to have that space when inside. On the sides here we have our two supporting mounts done, and underneath a sheet of wood just kind of to the shape of the bodywork to spread the weight or the pressure out that's going to be getting pushed down on top of these. And then we'll get some carpet on top of that and it'll be a lovely little storage space that will be able to reach in down the side of the bed. So the slats are then going to mount on top like this and run down, and we can then attach some of them and then keep some of them loose if we want to, so we can then roll back on the slats if need be. The box that will be coming on will slide beautifully underneath our metal bar there, and that will then cover this front section, so when we're climbing in and out we don't have to worry about things dropping into the drawer. This will all be a covered section, and we can still access down inside of the wheel well if we want, just for grab smaller things that might come out. So today's project is trying to get these mounts now sorted, the next stage back. The drawer is attached to this beam here, but we need to attach another beam coming up like this so that the bed frame can widen when it gets to the back section here. So we're going to bring it out and then bring it flush along the side of the door. So the plan here is to mount this support post to this seat bolt here. Again, I just like using I like things to be safer, in case the chance of a crash or something, for it actually to be attached to the car so that the wood isn't going to go flying. But I don't want to drill into it, so I can just utilise these bolts here. This metal bracket here, and I'm just going to cut a section of it so that it bolts down there, and bend it so it comes up the back here again, just for a little bit of extra support, so that the stress isn't trying to slide down. It can be held in at that bolt. So let's see if this works. Now I've got those pieces made, I'm ready to attach this final bar here at the door. So just leveling it all up, squeezing it in, making sure it's good before we actually screw it all together. Yeah, again, just making sure angles are right, because this is where the box is going to slide below the bed. We have to make sure that it is tall enough so that the box can slide under, the chairs can fit under. So it's again just making sure our final measurements are good before we confirm and bolt and screw everything down. So I just want to say thank you to those who have watched so far. So I am that man and Robin. Robin is currently living somewhere else, so she's not here to help build, but you'll hopefully meet her very soon once this is all done. This is taking longer than I thought, so if you're planning on trying to do something like this as well, maybe you're better than me and you can get it done faster, but definitely allocate some time with trying to measure bits and balance all the different angles and stuff. It is definitely a lot harder than some of the conversions you see where people just put boxes in the flat section with the chairs and stuff in, but it's definitely going to be worth it once all of this is in. It's just really going to use the space well, I think. Last night I measured it and we're going to have a full bed on the width, which is awesome. So hit that subscribe button and we'll hopefully get this done soon. So this is the part where I faff around a lot, trying to figure out how to fit the shelf on the bottom. I thought it would be a good idea to use cardboard and cut it in, but the cardboard was really floppy. So every time I cut it, it didn't actually give like exact measurements, and I tried to be really fancy and do really good shapes in and around everything so that it could like slide in with barely any movement, but I ended up giving up. So I tried to do like a really fancy shape and make it so it like perfectly twisted around, but like I said, gave up on that and just put a simple shape that just blocked in against the piece of wood. So just cut it up with the jigsaw to the shape I had measured and slid it in nicely. This is where the cooler is going to sit behind the driver's seat, or sorry, behind the passenger seat. So you're just going to move some of these slats, reach down, and then you'll be able to pop the lid open on the cooler and get into the food. So the supports are going to run from here down the side, down to this solid part here, and just sit on the floor. The straight piece here now cut, just going down the side trim, supporting this this rail here, and then this piece here just cut with the two angles on it to bring us right down to the floor, just to add a little bit extra strength. So on the side here, this one is supported there, and then this angle piece just adds a little bit extra support right down to the ground. We are now attaching the slats to the bed, and as you can see from my slight frustration, these things are a little fiddly. However, they are going to be great because they're just going to save that weight. I just have to measure them, cut them where I need to, and get them into two different sections. So I just removed all of the staples from the ribbon that's holding them all together, cut them all down to the size that I had measured them up to be, and then had to sit and reattach the ribbon, trying to make sure that they were all tight, so that when I put the dials down in the top of the bed, I can pull them back and they're not going to go anywhere. And it works perfectly, so I can set it all in and line them up. This section is just going to always be sitting, so I don't have to worry about it being fiddly. Here all I have to do is trim them down a little bit so that they sit in tighter, and then beautiful, we have a bed. The next thing I wanted to do was actually make some sort of shelf for the EcoFlow. So I didn't want it to have to be hidden somewhere. I wanted to be able to access it either while we're driving or just so it could be there ready for the cooler. So I took the center console out, and the idea was actually for the EcoFlow to sit down here, but I realized that that's the computer's or the car's CPU, so we decided to cut apart the center console. I went to scrapyard, got another one, so it was like $10. Measured this up and realized that there's actually a really good shelf inside of the center console, so we're just cutting this at an angle. This means that we can still use the cigarette lighter, the USB and the aux cord. We're not touching any of that stuff, so I'm just building a nice shelf here that's going to be perfect for the EcoFlow to slide forward onto, and then we will start building a wooden shelf that goes that bridges across from the back one to on top of this. And she fits beautifully. Ready now, just going to build a shelf and we'll be good to go. So getting the shelf put in here, simply just cut a piece of plywood. It goes over the center support that's holding up the steel bar, and yeah, it just fits real snug. It just allows the EcoFlow just to sit on that little shelf, and means it can be accessed while we're driving. It can power the little refrigerator for us. It also allows the EcoFlow just to be able to breathe for the fans. Like the fans can blow in to the front of the car rather than it being like boxed away somewhere under the vehicle, getting too hot. So just screwing all of the supports onto the shelf here, making sure it's strong enough just for the EcoFlow to sit on, so it's not going to be wobbling anywhere. And yeah, pretty happy with how this has turned out. So it's just slide it nicely in, makes it all look neat, gives us some good storage space there as well, and there's that little bit of storage space underneath underneath the shelf as well. But this is, yeah, this is good. Now that we have the shelf built and the trims all off, thought we'd just give a really good clean in and around that area and get all the trim pieces around the gear stick all put back together. We got this fancy little doodah. It is a dash cam built into the mirror. What I actually did was, it usually clips in around your old mirror, but that was too bulky, so I got another thing from the junkyard, drilled a hole in it here so that the mirror could come through, drilled some holes so that it could clip through, and now it gives us like, I think a pretty decent looking little mirror. So every time you turn the car on, it comes up with your dash cam, and then you can cycle through your different things. It can be just the mirror, so you can look back in the car, but the most important part is what I'm going to fit now is the rear camera. So the tire carrier is going to block the license plate, so what do? We don't spend money, we build. License plate, tow hook, angle grinder, and it's creation time. Tried welding, didn't work, didn't have a good enough welder, so cold welded and self-tapped in there. These things cost like 80 bucks. I made it for like $9. So absolute bargains. Then I've attached down the bottom here for the lights for the license plate and then our rear mounted camera. Then I'm going to wire these into a wiring harness for a trailer connection, and then that's just going to plug into my trailer connectors so that the lights will come on. And then when the car's done, I'm not having to touch wiring and stuff. I can just unplug the trailer connection, move my license plate back up and put this in storage until I ever want it again. Hello! So it's been a little while, actually, probably about a week really, since we've done anything in the car. I've moved back to live with the fiance and the fam. So just been relaxing, doing that. It was my birthday, so I had to do those celebrations. So yeah, we're back into the car and getting things done. We have all of our beautiful slats in and ready, so we're going to attempt to cut our mattress now and see how that goes. Measure a billion times and cut once and hope for the best. So yeah, let's get cutting and see what we can get done. So, although the video makes it look like this was nice and quick, I think this was probably about 11 minutes of videoing me doing this thing. Lifting and squeezing this into the car was an absolute mission, but we got it in, we figured out roughly where we want to cut it, and then we get a turkey cutter and we just start cutting and hacking at it and trying to make it fit in around the wheel wells and different things like that. While we were doing it, we tested it a few times and we slept on it. And we really did not actually like the fact that you can see here it's 3 layers. We really didn't like the layer of memory foam on the bottom, so we were just going to flip it and leave it, but then I decided actually let's get rid of it. It weighs a lot and it just sinks into the bottom of the slats, so we just ripped it all off and we are good. We have a bed. Now we're really on to all the trim things, so we're putting carpets on everything underneath. So we're calling this the basement, and we're just putting carpet everywhere so that stuff will slide in. It's easy to clean. It's just the wood's not going to get dirty, or we're not getting splinters, anything like that. So we're just carpeting everywhere, gluing it. But then on the back of the car, we're just using the bolts again so that this is all removable. We can just bolt it down so that it isn't going to shimmy while we're driving. And yeah, it's starting to all come together on the final pieces. And that includes everywhere, the back wheel well and everything. Everything's getting covered. It's really just going to help with the sound. It's going to help with the look of everything, cleanliness of it, and it's just, yeah, makes it all look sharp. So we're doing the wheel well as well. Carpeted the inside of it, but also decided to put, or to sew and put this fabric down, just because it can get a bit dirty when stuff drops in there. So it's just going to help be able to make that area just be cleaner, look sharper, and the stuff's not going to get lost in behind anything. So pretty much just sewed a bag of fabric that all the stuff in there can just get put in. Hey everyone, sorry that video is a little put together. We had more important things to focus on, like getting married. So absolutely buzzing. We were doing that more than focusing on editing and putting videos together for the van. The van is now complete, or should I say the Subaru is now complete. So the next video coming out will be a complete tour of us on the road, showing how it all actually came together and works. So we're really excited for that, and I'm really actually excited to have Robin. She's just over there, but she hasn't actually appeared on the camera yet. So next time everybody gets to meet Robin from That Man and Robin. So make sure you subscribe. Everybody, we're really excited to head out on our journey, and we're excited for you to be all be part of it, and we're getting words out eventually. Bye!